Hi everyone, this is Shemi from Crafts, Names, and Things, and I have another craft idea for you. Today I'm going to show you how to make these really beautiful T-shirt bracelets. So they're kind of cool, and they kind of have a little fringe part, and then they have beads on them too. So I just think they're a lot of fun. So I love making them. And how I got this idea was that I already make T-shirt scarves and necklaces. So this is what those look like. And I sell those at my Etsy shop. So that's what they look like. They just have a lot of texture. Like they're fringed and they have knots and everything on them, and then they're hand sewn. So they're completely washable. But so I always have scraps left over from my T-shirt scarves, and I didn't want it to go to waste, so I decided to make a matching bracelet to go with them that has some beads on it. So I'm going to show you how to make those, so stay tuned. If you want to learn, all you need is a few beads, a T-shirt. I always get mine at the thrift store for like $2. You get a big huge T-shirt, and just a little bit of patience, and you need a needle and thread to kind of to sew it together, because I like it sewn better than glued, but that's just my preference. You could totally hot glue it, but I just love them. They're kind of they're chic and kind of messy, but I like things like that. And these would look so cool like with a regular T-shirt, just to kind of add a little bit of something to your wardrobe. So stay tuned, and I can't wait to show you how to make these. Thanks for watching. Okay guys, this is Shemi, and I'm back. Okay, so as I said before, I'm going to show you how to make these really cool bracelets, T-shirt bracelets, that are really, really easy. I said that I was going to hand sew them for you, but I think just for time's sake that I'm actually going to hot glue them, because that's really easy. But this is kind of two stacked together. But there they are. So all you need for this is a hot glue gun now, or you can use a needle and thread too, if that's your preference. And then you just need a pair of scissors and beads. I'm not going to warn you, like, the beads is probably the most difficult part and the part that takes the most patience with these, because it's kind of hard to thread all these on. It takes forever and it takes a lot of patience. So that's probably going to be the most difficult part. So, but I will show you how to do that. So I just have an assortment of glass beads, of wooden beads, kind of what I think will go best. And then this is my T-shirt. And I actually buy mine in the men's section at the thrift store. It's really good because they don't have the sign seams like a lot of women's shirts do. And they're usually actually cheaper, and they're bigger. You get more fabric. So this is just a plain old T-shirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this very end here. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut off that end. Okay? And I actually use that to make these really pretty fabric flowers. But it doesn't have to be straight. I mean, this is the good thing about working with T-shirts, is that the sides ravel in. So to cover up all the inconsistencies, because I am a terrible cutter, self-admittedly so. So this works just fine for me. So I am by no means a perfectionist when it comes to cutting things. So there we go. So that's just that part, and we'll use that to make a flower, and I'll maybe show you how to do that if you're interested. Okay. Right. And then we're just going to cut off, I would say maybe about a ½ inch of fabric here. Okay. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just going to keep cutting all the way through. Just like so. Okay, so there's one strip. Okay, just like that. Alrighty. And then this one I'm going to make a little bigger. So I'm going to make this maybe about 2 inches wide, because that's where you get this fringy part. So you need a little bit more, because see, in the bracelet, like, there's this part here, and then I just fringe the very edge about an inch. So you kind of want at least 2 inches, probably 3 would be even better. So I'm just going to start cutting that, just like so. And like I said, these do take a lot of time, but they're super cute. Okay, so there you go. So I'm going to get rid of this t-shirt, right, just like that. That's how it looks. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of measure your wrist. So you just measure it around. You don't have to be precise on this either, because it's stretchy material. See how it stretches? So it's okay. I always make it a little bit bigger. So I'm measuring it around my wrist. I'm gonna make mine maybe just a ½ an inch larger than my measurement. So there's that. And I'm just gonna cut it right there, just like that. Okay, like so. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this long strip one that I made. Okay, and I'm gonna pull it and see what it does. It folds up on itself. Okay, so I'm just going to keep pushing it. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take this as a measurement. So I'm going to cut off one end, just like that. And then I just like to cut it just a little bit bigger than that piece that I cut. So maybe about a ½ an inch. Maybe 2 inches. Yeah, we'll do it about there. Okay. So what you are going to do is you're going to first fringe it. So for this one, you just pick one edge that you want that's fringed, and you just take it and you just make little slits, just like that. And don't worry, because we're going to pull on them and they'll be nice and thin. And you want these fairly thin because it makes it easier to put your beads on. But you don't want it too thin where it falls apart. But see how thin those are? Like that would probably be the perfect one to put a bead on. If you can see that very well. Which you probably can't, but yeah. But I mean, it's probably about a 1/4 of an inch is what I like to do. And then I make some of them bigger too, because those are the ones that I won't put beads on. And that just adds just a little bit of texture. And that way you just get some fringe too. So you just keep cutting all the way to the end. And then make a thin one. So make another really, really thin one. Okay, and then you'll just keep, and like I said, it just makes it easier when you're trying to put those beads on. Okay. And I am so in love with t-shirt scarves and bracelets and all things t-shirts, because I think they're totally cute. So, and if you make one that's too big, like that one's probably a little too big, you just can kind of do it like that. Okay, and you're just going to keep going here all the way to the edge, just like that. Make sure you make some nice thin ones. Just like so. Okay, so that is what we have. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I just give these a tug, and that kind of pulls them. So you just keep tugging them out, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit so you won't have a 40-minute tape video to watch. So there you go, you're just going to tug it just like that. And you'll just keep tugging them until it's all done. And then this part also you want to tug so it rolls in on itself. Okay, and then you just keep tugging. And the main thing, the only thing about this craft is that it does take a little while to do. So this is definitely not like your 10-minute or 30-minute craft idea. It takes some time, but it's totally worth it. Okay, so that's kind of what I have, and I can pull them on them some more. There you go. So that's the fringy part. Okay, and then so then you have your little strips, and you want these kind of thin. I forgot to mention that because that'll make it easier for the beads to go on too. So let me show you how this works. So this one, I just do one plain one that's just knotted. So maybe we'll do this one with knots. So you're just going to take it and you're going to tie just a simple overhang knot, just like that. And you're just going to make the knots all the way down the strip of T-shirt material, just like that. Okay, so see I have about 4 knots. I'm going to make a 5th one. And you can make as many knots as you want, or as few as you want, or as close together as you want. Just make sure that it will be able to fit around your wrist. Oops. There you go. So I made about 7, okay? And they're just all in different areas, as you can see, okay? So I'm going to add that one there. And then for this one, I actually am going to thread beads through. So this is just a plain piece of T-shirt yarn, and I'm just going to thread some beads through. So let me grab some beads so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so here's some beads. So I'm back. So what we have here is we have the knotted one that we made. So the knotted part of the bracelet, and then we have the fringe, and then I was telling you that I was going to thread on beads onto this this part. So this is just the straight one that we just that we don't put any knots in or anything. We just put beads on. So all I'm going to do is just I just folded a piece of wire. This is like 26 gauge wire. I just folded it in half just to kind of make a little needle thing. Okay, I'm just going to take that, and all you do is stick it through the bead just like that, and you're just going to pull it through. Okay, just like that. So I think probably about 5 beads is good. So these are just wooden beads, just like that. I tried to do glass, but the holes are too narrow, so we might be able to put some glass beads on the fringe part, but we'll see. Okay, so that's all you do for that, is you just thread those on. And don't worry, like, I know your wrist isn't like that huge. I will show you what we're going to do with that next. So those two are complete, those components of the bracelet. Now for the fringe part, I like to add a little bit more texture, so on the larger fringes, I just tie little knots. Okay. And that's kind of why you want them a little longer. Makes it easier to tie a knot. But you can do like every 5 one or every 2 one, whichever one that you want. And this is a little bit bigger than what you'll need for your wrist, so just kind of keep that in mind too. Okay. So yeah, we're just going to keep tying here. Very good. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Now, we are going to add some beads to these, to the little fringes part. So the ones that are really, really thin, it's really easy to stick them in here. It's not easy, but you just kind of roll it through, and then you just stick it on, just like that. Just stick it through, and you'll just have to like maneuver it a bit, but it will work. like I said, it's not that this is hard, it's just really time consuming. Just a lot of intricate things that you have to do. Almost have it through. So see, I can pull it right out, okay? And then I made this thinner so that I can tie a knot just to keep that bead on. Very good. So that should keep the bead on. Maybe I'll tie it once more just to be sure. Okay, so that should be okay. And then I will pick another fairly thin one, kind of in the middle of the bracelet. I like where you can kind of see the beads. So we'll take that. And on these two, you can kind of taper the edges too if you need to. That's a good trick. So that it comes to a point and then you can just pull it through. So I'm going to try a glass bead. I don't know if it'll work, but we will try and see if I can find one that has a wide opening. So this one has a wide opening. This is a glass bead. And we'll just pull it through. Maybe. You might be good to have your flat nose pliers to see if you can grab some of that. Okay, so there's the bead. Okay, there's my bead, and I'm just going to tie it off again. Kind of makes it easier with that tapered edge. And then if you don't want the tapered edge, of course, like you can just cut it off at the end to make it look all even. But I don't mind if it's tapered. Just like so. Okay, so it's not going anywhere. And then you're just going to keep adding them on wherever you want a bead. So let's do a few more here. So that's actually not a bead, that's a pony bead. Let's see if we can find any that have large openings. I see beads all over the floor. Okay. And like I said, you want ones that have large openings, which I don't have lots that have large openings. I think I used them off in my Etsy supply. Okay, so that's all right. So we can just do some wooden beads. Kind of that have a good opening. So we'll just take that and we just thread it through. And I think if you wanted to, actually you could use this little needle thing that we made it. I haven't tried it that way, but I think that that would work. Let's give it a shot and see if it works. Yep, that does actually work very well. Okay, so you'll take that and you just tie another knot. Okay, and I'm just going to cut off that tip. Okay, but see, it's not going anywhere, it's secure. So I think that it looks good with this amount of beads and the fringe. That's just my preference. If you want to go crazy and have lots of beads, go for it, but I think that this is good. So I'm going to take these off and I'm going to show you how you actually make the bracelet part. I forgot to say that you actually will need to get a piece, to cut off a piece of fabric too. Remember that one that we made that was really thick? I'm just cutting off a piece from there, and that's just to cover up the edges. So all you do is you kind of straighten it out as much as you can. It's okay if it's not perfectly straight because that adds a lot to it too. So take this, we're going to wrap it around our wrist like that, and then we're going to make a tie there, okay? So we're going to tie it off. And you know what I'm thinking about is, what we can do is we'll just lay them all down together. That'll make our lives easier, right? So I like to put the knotted one in the middle and then the one with the bead on top. So I'll just take it, I put it around my wrist just to kind of measure it, and it's okay if the fringe is a little messed up because we're going to fix that anyway. Okay, so we'll do that. I do like to bring the beads over as far as I can though, because I don't like to be able to see them on the back part of my wrist. Okay, it's like a waste of beads. So we'll take it, I kind of know the measurement that I want, and I'm just going to tie it off. So just a knot. Just going to tie a knot here, and we'll tie another knot. Just like that. Okay, like so. And it's okay if it's not perfectly secure. Make sure that you measure it and make sure that it goes over your wrist. This knot one can be a little bit thick, like it's a little tricky sometimes to get on, but so we're actually going to undo it and we'll try tying it again. So I'm going to lay these out again, just like I said, like so. Okay. And then this time I'm going to make sure that I get the knot in. And I can stretch it a little bit too. So we'll do that. We're going to make sure that that one's tied up nice and well. Okay. So we're going to take that and we're just going to knot it 2 times. We're going to do two knots. Make sure that you get that. Make sure you get all of those little strands in, as many as you can. Okay. And we're going to make sure that it's nice and secure, just like that. Okay. And then you can put your wrist through, make sure that it's big enough. Like I said, t-shirt material is really stretchy, which is nice. Okay, just like that. Now, for these edges, we are just going to give those a chop, just to kind of clean it up a bit. Okay, so see I have all those edges. I'm just going to chop them off, and not too close to the edge too, because I don't want that knot to come undone. Okay, and then I'm going to take my hot glue gun. Okay, that's all warmed up, and I'm going to take this cuff that I made, and that's what we're going to use to cover up kind of all that damage that we did, to cover up that ugly knot. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take one end and I'm going to just fold it over on top. And you are going to have some fringe hanging out, you know, from the bracelet, and that's okay. We're just going to cover that up. Okay, so you're going to take that. You're going to get all of that stuff in there that you need. Actually, I don't think that this needs to be so wide. Okay, it can be a little bit thinner. Okay, and we're just going to clean it up a bit. Okay. Take that. And we're just going to glue it down. So I take my glue and I'm going to put it right on that knot. Just like that. So see, I put a bead of glue right there, right on the knot. And then I'm just going to fold it over just like that. And be careful, hot glue is hot, so be very careful. And then I'm going to take this edge that's sticking down and I'm going to put a line of hot glue down there like that, and I'm just going to bring that over to close it up. And like I said, you could hand sew these. I like to hand sew them for my Etsy business, but hot glue works just as well. It's not like it's a scarf or anything. And then you see how that part's kind of sticking up. See how there's that opening? I'm going to glue that down as well. Okay, so we're just going to glue that down. Very good. And we can just clean up all those little spaces that are kind of sticking up a bit. Okay. And see how that's sticking up? I'm going to glue that down too. So I'll take that edge and glue it down, just like that. Okay. And we'll just let that dry for a sec, but this is what it looks like. So this is your T-shirt bracelet that's kind of fringy and fun, just like that. And you can put it on. And feel free, you know, to rearrange these. You can pull them down a bit, decide how you want the fringe to be, if you want it in front or in back. And you have a beautiful bracelet. Look at that. Just very beautiful, very organic, fun, messy, but very original and unique. And I could have made this a bit tighter, but you get the point. So see? These are so much fun to make, and like I said, they're a little tedious, but they're super fun and they're cute. So I hope that you make one. Please like and subscribe this video so I can give you more great content, and thank you so much for watching. And I'm sorry for a long video, but sometimes you have to have long ones too, because there's no way that I could rush this, and I didn't want to. So there's the back. There you go. And they're so cute and fringy. Fringe, fringe, fringe. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.